Dominic and Maximum Threshold, and we have here next to me one of the industry leaders in comedy in the world, Craig Gass.
I'm glad that you didn't mention just comedy, that you actually mentioned the world, because my presence is, I think, beyond comedy, because I fart a lot. I think I have some farts that people throughout the hotels that I stay at are aware of. I also am hypocritical because every time I sit next to somebody who's clearly farting quietly on a plane, I like to eyeball them like, I know what you're doing.
So you don't try to pass it off as somebody else, you take claim on it.
Well, when I do it, I try to pass it off as somebody else. But when somebody else does it, and there's nobody else around us, and I know it's you, I will stare at you and go, really? Really, dude? You're going to just fart on this whole flight? Like, I'm very hypocritical.
Now, do they ever acknowledge that and ever say anything in response to that?
No, it did affect the way I look at Asian people now, because there was an Asian guy on a flight that I was on. He just happened to be Asian, and he really fucked up the way I look at Asian people now, because he was farting continuously throughout the entire flight. There's nobody else around us. And at one point I just said, really, dude? And he goes, what? And I go, what do you mean? What? You don't smell that? And he goes, smell what? And I go, really? You don't smell the fucking stench in the air right now? And the guy turned around, this little Asian dude turned around and sat Indian style looking out the window of the plane and kept farting. And it ruined the way I look at Asian people. It's fucked up. I think all Asian people are mean farters now.
So now you just stereotype the whole it's a national, let's say, a race. Is it a race?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I shouldn't say stuff like that. I know they'll probably take away my basketball team now, but
North Korean.
My North Korean. Nice. And it's kind of messed up, you know. It just, but it fucked me up. But I'm here for Rock on the Range. I'm here for the roast. Yeah. We did the roast the other night. Now I'm here just to hang with friends who are performing here this weekend. So it's a good time. I'm here to rock.
Have they talked about having you back again for the roast?
Yes, they said they're going to do another roast next year. They're going to make it part of the whole thing. This time they had already booked all the bands. They had booked the entire festival. And then the roast came along from some other people who put it together, and then they kind of wrapped it up in 6 to 8 weeks down in advance. Next year, they're planning on making it part of the festival.
Nice.
So, in other words, part of the ticket package is the understandings that they're going to do. So
that'd be nice. I would think if they would have it in a nice. Where'd they have it at?
The LC Pavilion, which was awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was I think it held probably, I would say 1,000 people, maybe 1,500, and it was awesome. It was a perfect place to do a roast. It was you can set it up with some nice tables down front, make it like a sit-down dinner thing, seated chairs behind that, rows of chairs behind that, and then upstairs in the balcony. It was a perfect fit, man. It was a perfect fit. Yeah.
What was the crowd reaction to while Corey was getting tore up by you guys?
The crowd loved all the fucked up jokes. They all knew what they were coming for, and they were really into it. Corey had a great sense of humor about it too. It was unfortunately a guy who I really loved, Sebastian, was not happy. The way to do a roast, in my opinion, is that when you start talking about me during the roast, I just shut my brain down and I just start laughing, because I know whatever you're saying is going to be me.
Yes,
fucked up. I know you're going to rip me apart. Like Scott Ian had a great line on me. He said, "Craig Gass, I haven't seen you in a long time, but then again, all I've been doing since the last time I saw you is going to comedy clubs, watching movies, and watching TV shows." So, and I was like, wow, that's fucked up. But it was a great line. And but Sebastian, every line he would respond and be like, "Okay, dude, I fucking get it. Hello." He kept like, "Oh, I haven't heard that before. Yeah, right." And I got the feeling that he was a little upset, because at one point he actually threw a coffee at Don Jameson, which was kind of a bummer. But I think he's cool with it. I think he just was. No one likes to hear bad shit said about you, but you get a thick skin for it, for sure. So.
So I know they probably brought up his books that he wrote. So what was some of the things that there was mentioned about that you guys busted out about?
Yeah, there was somebody had a line about his books that was really funny. I can't remember. I said something. Corey, honest to God, is a guy that I can't find much to make fun of.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's so fucking honest. He doesn't try to hide behind anything.
He's a really great guy.
And he's put a lot of really honest shit out there. And so, which is what I said at the end of my segment. I said, Corey's a really honest guy. I really respect that he's been through drug addiction and come back and talked about it. And I said, I found something really interesting about him, that he has admitted this, talked about this publicly, that he actually tried to kill himself. He actually, before he formed Stone Sour, he actually tried to jump out a hotel window in Hollywood, and somebody stopped him. And I think we could all agree that if the person that stopped him knew that he was going to form Stone Sour, he probably would have let him jump. and I didn't like the crowd. I didn't know how the crowd was going to react to that, and I actually had a follow-up joke that I never said because I was so nervous that the person who stopped him might have been a friend of his, but they weren't a friend to anybody who likes good music. And that was just, and that's what a roast is. You really say awful shit about each other. But Corey was fucking great. He came out in a nice blue suit, and that suit was badass, man. When you have a suit like that, you got to have an attitude with it too, man. And he came out, and he was hilarious. He was awesome. I was really proud of him for sticking it out. Yeah.
So what's your plans after leaving Rock on the Range?
I'm going to be around the country. I got a new comedy special I just put out called The Worst Comedy Show Ever. Every comedian that I know, all my friends, whenever they do comedy specials, they always want to film their shows in a really nice theater with a really nice production, and they try to look as good as possible. I wanted to film my show in a shithole. I filmed it in a dump, and it's called The Worst Comedy Show Ever. And it features some funny cameos from some of the guys in Alice in Chains and Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. And they mostly showed up just to show how much better their lives were than mine.
Yeah.
And there's a track on the album called I Think Gene Simmons Is Going to Kill Me that I'm really proud of that's on there. So I'll be out on the road supporting that. Everything is at getgas.com, getgas with 2 S's.com. And if you want to see some fucked up pictures, go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/ILoveGas. There's a lot of weird pictures, like a picture of me hanging out with Kenny G backstage at a Slayer concert while Dave Mustaine from Megadeth was in a prayer circle behind us. That is not a joke, and there's a long story to it, but it's all explained in the picture. And another picture from the roast of Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
There's a moment where Steve-O from Jackass got thrown out of the roast. They never explained why he got tossed out, and the reason is because what Steve-O did to get thrown out, it happened during a break in filming.
Because with Tyson, was Tyson in that one?
No, not Tyson. It was Andrew Dice Clay, Lisa Lampanelli, me, Jeff Ross, and during a break in filming, Steve-O did something that pissed people off, and they never captured it on film, but it literally happened right next to me. I took out my camera phone, I snapped a picture of it, I put it on my Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/ILoveGas with 2 S's, go to my profile pictures, and you will see a perfect picture of Steve-O from Jackass pissing on Danny Bonaducci. It's the coolest picture here.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome. So I think you'll love it. Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, anytime.
I know we've been trying to connect for a while, man,
right.
and I'm glad we got to do it today, man.
Can you do me a quick favor?
Sure.
Can you do a promo ID for our station? We've got 2 stations.
Sure.
Let me stop this.